strategy rather than tactics. Work with your other leaders to understand and work in achieving the overall goal of the unit in an operation. Make sure to build trust with your fire team leaders. Give them opportunities to progress themselves and to take on additional responsibility. Now you have to learn management, micro versus macro. You need to learn where to balance that, where to let your fire team leaders take initiative, or when to give them a bit more of an iron fist and tell them exactly where they need to be. As always, strive to ensure morale is at or above the standards overall. Very quick, brief review. Fire team structure. Fire team is composed of the fire team leader, auto rifleman, grenadier, with a FTL designating a 2IC. Squad is composed of 2 full, ideally, fire teams, an alpha and a bravo. Any question in regards to any of that? No? Okay, good. So, basics of a squad leader. Like I said earlier, macro over micro. Squad leader is more of a management role. You should find that you're issuing orders to your fire team leads more often than you are shooting your gun yourself. Essentially, your teams are your weapons. You see a couple guys in a building, don't necessarily just you go and take a buddy, because you always need to take a buddy, and clear out yourself. No, tell a fire team to go clear out that building if you notice it being a substantial threat. Let your team leaders handle each individual member. All you need to do is tell them where to go. Trust that your FTLs can get the job done. If they're not, then maybe you need to step in. But that is, at that point, a failure in the system happening. Focus on the larger strategic objective rather than the individual moment by moment. If you do need to tell an individual member what to do, it should be practical, like, hey, watch that door or sector, not something like broad, like run to the forest and clear it. Be specific and be small scale if you have to instruct an individual person. Your focus is entirely on completing the objectives. Your tools are your fire teams. Use them to complete the objectives. So the FTL's job is to keep his team alive while pushing through and achieving. Your job isn't so much to keep your FTLs and fire teams alive, but rather to make sure they get the job done. Often they go hand in hand, but there is a key difference in there. Additionally, there is also the platoon sergeant role. Well, basically, a squad leader plus helps and advises the platoon lead by supervising, spot checking all assigned tasks, and corrects any unsatisfactory actions. Leads the platoon in the leader's absence. Supervises platoon's administration, logistics, and maintenance. So, in the sense of pharma, that basically means keeping everybody on task and making sure the squad leaders have divvied out the appropriate equipment. Receives, coordinates, and supervises squad leaders' requests for supplies and platoon resupply operations, usually coordinating with the JTAC on that. Essentially, what should be happening while platoon, let's say you complete the first of 2 objectives, you need to resupply and coordinate and plan the next one. So while platoon leader is focusing on building and map and drawing out the plan for the next objective, platoon sergeant, or the platoon words, I can do them. The platoon sergeant is conducting ACE checks, delivering the resupply, making sure everyone is ready to step off once the plan is made. And essentially ensures the platoon adheres to the operation time schedule. They're not just standing around when they need to be moving on an objective. Any questions in regards to squad leader versus platoon sergeant? No? Perfect. Okay. Radios. As you know, you have 2 long, as a squad leader, you should have 2 long range radios, as well as sometimes a short range radio. The short range is almost never used. The long range, I like to have my squad in my left ear personally, and platoon leader in my right ear. That way I know who is speaking to me when. I could differentiate channels. It makes things a whole lot easier. Most of you probably already know how to do that. Does anyone not know how to quickly select which ear for your radio? I'll take that as a no.
I think I need a refresher.
Okay, so there is the long way in which you can go a self-interact, go to radios, hover over the radio. You can select left ear, right ear, or both ears. Or with your currently selected radio, you could do control, or you should be able to do control left or right on the D-pad, but it looks like they may change that key binding actually since I last played. Give me one moment. Sorry. Shift control, and then left or right to change the ear. It's actually very nice.
Okay, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. And then if for whatever reason you want to have it coming out both the ears because you are a sadist, or a masochist, either or you can do. Yes, but as a squad leader, you should not be using a third radio. There's pretty much no situation where you would be using a third radio.
2IC for fucking...
No, you're supposed to switch your... You're supposed to switch one to platoon.
Yep, you have one long range on platoon and one long range on your squad. Squad 1 is channel 2, squad 2 is channel 3. But as I was saying, if for whatever reason you want both ears, shift control up or down on the arrow keys. That'll set it to the center. Any questions with the radios? No? Okay, excellent. So, mission planning. Overall, platoon leader, the mission planning. However, I want to try and encourage more, and the threads will the new thread system that got implemented without any input from me should actually probably help with this goal of squad leaders. Coordinate with the platoon leader on the mission plan. Become familiar with it. Help map it out even if you feel confident in doing so. That way you know the ins and outs of the mission. You know where there may be opportunities to exploit. You know what points are going to be problematic so you can prep your fire teams ahead of that occurring. Okay. So moving on, then after mission planning, you got before the fight and during the fight. So before the fight, during actions throughout the mission, squad leader obtains status reports from team leaders and passes them up to platoon sergeant and platoon leader. Makes recommendations to leadership when problems are observed and delegates priority tasks to team leaders and supervises their accomplishment according to 6's guidance. The squad leader uses initiative in the absence of orders, following 6's plan, and makes recommendations during movements and halts. The SL notifies 6 of the status of their squad, maintains proper movement techniques while monitoring route, pace, and bearing. So make sure everyone's heading in the right direction, make sure everyone's going at the right speed, making sure the fire teams are spaced out but can give adequate coverage to one another. Ensures that they maintain security throughout their movement and at halts. You work to prevent breaks in contact. So if you can't get a hold of one of your fire team leaders, go find him, get in touch with him, figure out what's going on. That might mean he's unconscious and you need to get in touch with their 2IC. It might just mean that they are having technical issues or that they heard you and are just being an asshole. In which case, you still gotta tell them to stop. And then ensures subordinate leaders are disseminating information, assigning sectors of fire, and checking personnel. So, just like with issuing an order as a fire team leader, as a squad leader, make sure you get affirmation of orders from your FTLs. Make sure they know that they heard you and that they heard you correctly. During a fight, during actions on the objective itself, squad leader ensures special equipment has been prepared for prior to prepare for actions on the objective. So if something needs blowing up, that demo has already been distributed. Maintains positive control of the squad during the execution of the mission. And the squad leader also positions key weapon systems during and after the assault on the objective. Maintains status reports again from team leaders, ensures ammunition is evenly distributed, and reports the status to 6 of the objectives as he acquires that information. So basically, it boils down to ensure the objective is going all according to plan. Ensure if you're holding a position that the fire teams have coordinated their sectors of security, so you don't have everybody watching north, for example, and make any adjustments as needed with that. This one is a little bit more specific, but in objectives where we have sight on the, let's say we're prepping for an assault, we're observing the objective, but are not in our start positions yet, are not initiating an assault, send out listening/observation posts in front of the assigned sector. So basically, send your fire teams to spread out, make sure they are getting good eyes on the objective, and that you're coordinating that. You're doing the middle. You are the middleman. You're doing the middleman work to get all the information platoon leader needs in order to execute the plan, and you are passing down any instructions to your fire team leaders so they can execute said plan. Any questions in regards to any of that? I know it's a lot of very vague stuff. A lot of squad leading is learned through doing. No? Okay. Let's see. Status reports. So, just like with FTL training, there are multiple status reports. There's the ACE, there's location, and just generic status report. Request ACE reports after particularly intense firefights. Request location status if you lose track of any fire teams. C-Tab is your friend at all times. Request status updates to make sure your team are on pace once they're on objective. If we are convoying, make sure to have a good idea of the vehicle statuses, special equipment, anything like that. The whole job of the squad leader is throughout the constantly building that big picture, building the battle space through everything your fire team leaders and platoon leader tells you. Okay, time for a short little practical. We're going to have 2 fire teams of 3. So, Castro, you're the first squad leader. Pinky, King, and I are going to be squad Alpha. Rush Job, Hannibal, you are going to be Bravo. And you are going to issue an order to... you want to just give me an order issue that you think a squad leader would do, and I would tell you if it is good or not.
Wait, for like just for anything? Like
come up with a scenario that you think is appropriate and like because you need to be able to build a balanced space picture and issue a competent order on that. So, what is the current battle space picture for you? What needs to be done in your mind, and how are you going to have us go do it?
Okay, well I don't remember who's who, but we'll have Alpha Team head over to the north, take up the elevated positions on the northern end of the complex, and Bravo Team maintain security on the southeastern end of the complex.
Bravo Team copies.
Bravo Team copies. Are we actually doing it?
No.
Okay.
Basically, that's so. Castro basically determined this was a position we want to hold, and he divvied out sectors of security and made sure to point out points of interest that are optimal for holding said security. He did a good job. That's a good Castro.
Good boy.
I'm rewarding myself with a beer
Okay.
right now, sorry.
King, I'm going to give you a little bit more of a straightforward example. We need to take this building. It's very heavily occupied. And we have a possible enemy QRF inbound as well. What order do you issue out to the fire teams? Then we're both full fire teams. So, our objective is to breach and clear that building. Meanwhile, there's an expected heavy QRF that will be inbound at this objective when we breach it. How best do you handle that? What kind of order do you give to accomplish that?
We are breaching this building, right?
This is the building, yes.
Okay, so Alpha Team breach this building to northeast, while Bravo Team will take security right at this entrance to our southeastern side.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, actually. Okay, Hannibal, you get to request an ace report.
Alpha Bravo, give me an ace report.
You could have made it fun. And made him call
Platoon,
it
this is
Chinook.
1. We are black across the board in Alpha, and Castro doesn't have any balls.
Nice.
Yes, spoke too damn soon. And yes, thank you.
Oh,
That is the important thing of the ace report, guys. You are not only requesting and getting that information, just like in FTL, but you are passing that up to the platoon leader, because he needs to know if he needs to order a resupply or not. Okay, rush job. We need to move from our current position over to the hangars, or actually to the air traffic control tower. What kind of movement order do you give?
Let's see. We've got. Where the fuck is that?
It's over there.
I'm looking at the map.
That works too.
So it's,
Actually, it's like
south,
this little thing.
southwest of our position, so it's around fucking here, pretty much. Alright.
what? I just circled. What? Rush, that is nowhere near where that tower is.
It's it's a little
The tower's
south-southeast
over
of our
here.
position. It's a little south-southeast of where we are from off the map.
It's south-southwest.
It's south-southeast of us. Oh, I'm looking
No.
at that. I'm looking at that
Usually
tower.
use
Alright.
Okay, good news is basic navigation will be covered in this training.
Hey, there's a tower right there. Alright? That's what I was looking at.
There
I
is,
said
but does that look like an air traffic control tower? No, not at all.
This guy's
Rush
holding
job, aren't you a
himself rotary
flyboy? You
wing.
should know
Yeah.
this shit.
We don't
more
fucking
than
use
anyone.
them. We don't have any fucking air controllers. The air controller fucking flies.
It'd be hilarious. Though.
Yes, but you should
That's my
still be able
next
to
role.
recognize those for like
let's
9-line
see.
I'll be the
purposes.
AWACS
Fuck.
system for next week.
Okay,
Alright, so
anyway.
I would have us move out off the. Oh, you got fucking.
Northwest has one
I'd
problem.
have them push to the northwest around the corner and follow the MSR out using the buildings as cover until we get over to the tower.
Okay. Now, how do you get that order? That's a good plan.
Alpha and Bravo. I want Alpha to lead off ahead and bounding back and forth between buildings along the MSR till we reach the tower.
Bravo copies. Alpha taking point and as we bound. Nice. Good job. Boom. Stanky. Yes. Let's see. You are. So we need to conduct an assault on this military base circled to our west. You've got a full squad helping you out. Platoon and any stragglers are providing external security. How do you order the assault?
by foot, or would we have vehicles or
We are on foot for it.
on foot? Okay.
Assume it is a target that is well within our ability to take. It's just all about giving the proper order for it.
Okay. Bravo, take point while Alpha provides security of the southwestern southwestern side of the compound, and staggered squads progress down the main road.
Okay, a few pointers on that. This is definitely where specificity is more important. So,
Yeah.
Assume we're nearby, but I would say when you're taking an objective, and we already have another element providing security for us, aka platoon and the additionals, you want to utilize your full squad on the assault. So you would say, okay, Alpha, Bravo, push in, take the military point. Alpha push in from the northwest, Bravo push in from the northeast. Coordinate with your fire teams to avoid any blue on blue. Something along those lines.
Okay.
Actually, it's a
But-
fucking ISR, not MSR.
You want to give it, like I said, this is where you want to be specific. Most likely we're not at a time crunch moment at this. We are at a position where we have a moment to take the breath, to give out the detailed report. That way the fire team leaders know what you want from them and are able to accomplish that successfully, and they also know what their sister fire team is doing, so they don't step on each other's toes.
I see. Okay.
Hubble.
Eh,
Hubble, let's see, what can... I need you to coordinate a resupply with the squad.
all right, Roger. We in contact?
No, we are holding a position.
What, at spawn?
No, we're not at spawn. We've taken an objective. We are holding it as we await resupply before moving on to the next objective.
All right, Roger. Well, coordinating with platoon lead. I guess Jade's back.
The resupply is already inbound. Basically, Hannibal already gave the ace report, and the supplies are inbound. You're coordinating, actually having the fire team leaders get supplied.
Okay, Roger. Okay. Alpha Bravo 1, be advised, resupplies inbound. Alpha, hold position. Bravo, you will resupply first once it is on the ground. How copy?
Bravo copies. Okay, yep. That's exactly what you want. When it comes to resupplies, do not have everyone go in and have it be a gaggle fuck. Ideally, even, I want to start having us put in time limits.
Okay.
So that
yeah,
way
that's what I was
not
going to
everyone's
suggest
milling
too.
around. So, and you didn't do anything wrong. It has not been instructed, but when you give the resupply orders, tell them you have 2 minutes or you have 3 minutes. Ideally, nothing more than that. They should already know what they need. They will know where the resupply point is. It should not take more than that to get what they need. And then they're back up, they're providing security. Next fire team goes, they have 3 minutes.
Roger.
Okay. Any questions in regards to any of these? No? Okay, excellent. Good news, guys. We're already over halfway done.
Oh shit!
This one's a little bit
tad bit quicker. Yeah.
So battlefield practical skills of a squad leader. Battlefield picture. I've mentioned this a number of times. I mentioned it in the FTL training. The most important thing a squad leader needs is a clear picture of the battlefield. This is where you have in your head an idea of what's happening around you without actually needing to see anything. The most common way to build your outfield picture is with reports from your FTLs and your platoon leader. Although asking for constant reports can be annoying and cumbersome to your leaders, it is sometimes necessary when there's a lot of things happening, though. And you need to keep up to date so you can respond to appropriate manners. How you do this, again, asking for the occasional sit rep from your fire team leaders, direct observation yourself, as well as clear lines of communication to platoon leader as well. You're going to be on platoon net, which also means you'll probably be hearing JTAC relay any contact reports he gets from Air Wing. That is a very useful tool. They will report if vehicles are inbound or an enemy platoon is spotted, and their approximate location in relation to you. It is important to filter that down as needed to your fire team leaders so they aren't surprised either. Things to keep in mind when building your picture: always know where you are, and what your objective is. Always have an idea of where the enemy is suspected to attack from or be entrenched in. Then, of course, make sure you cover that area and that the other areas are also still covered as well. But if you know where the enemy is coming from, make sure you have adequate fire coming out in that direction. And then always ask for status updates when you issue an order. Never forget your leaders. So basically, when you issue, make sure the fire teams are capable of executing the order that you give them. If a fire team is combat ineffective, don't go issuing them to go clear out a compound. If they're combat ineffective, have them be a support by fire element while the stronger fire team gets the work done. Control during chaos. So it's important when your teams start receiving contact that you, as the squad leader, keep your teams under control and always be mindful of how your teams are maneuvering. It's easy for your FTLs to never call on the radio as they're managing their teams. It happens very frequently. Leadership on this level is a triangle of you speaking with your FTLs, them speaking with you, and them speaking with each other. Coordinate, encourage, and emphasize that happening as much as possible. The more autonomous they are, the easier your job is. The more they communicate with each other, the less you are needing to micromanage, and the more you can provide them important intel. If both teams are, additionally, it's important to utilize your teams that they support one another, that they can provide assistance as needed, whether that's in the form of additional firepower, the medic heading to the correct position, or special equipment being properly utilized. Both teams are under heavy contact. You should look to put yourself in an advantageous position to repel said contact, provide aid, or outright pull back. Don't be afraid to retreat, regroup, and hit from another direction if you're starting to get overwhelmed. Some simple guidelines to follow in regards to this: try to keep your fire teams no more than 100 meters apart from one another. Utilize squad bounding when moving any substantial distance in a combat zone. Utilize assets to support you as much as possible. This may be in the form of vehicles, indirects that we might have on those super rare occasions, or reporting up to JTAC and 6 that you need some CAS. You won't be calling it in yourself, but you can absolutely put in requests for that if you feel it is necessary. Don't keep your teams in one place for too long. This prevents enemy from finding your location and maneuvering on you, as well as preventing boredom with your guys. Yes. I'm sorry, Russia, did you have a question?
That was a comment.
Oh. What was the comment?
I just
an
said
indirect?
indirect while you're in the middle of listing some stuff off.
Yep. So yeah. All those are things that you want to keep in mind. It does sound like it's a lot. as you become squad leader, a lot of that mental checklist becomes kind of second nature. So tackling the objectives themselves. So you've got they can basically be narrowed down to two different kinds of objectives. You have assault and defense. Every assault and every defense is different. You have different environments to maneuver in and around. You have different angles hostiles can attack you from. It's up to you on how you approach assault positions and what team is responsible for what. For an example, you want Alpha Team to be the assault team into an FOB. Meanwhile, you have Bravo set up on a hill that has wonderful eyes on said FOB, provide support by fire. While that happens, Alpha then maneuvers into the FOB to clear it out, just like how those mock orders you guys gave. And just how every assault is different, same is true for every defense. Always expect the enemy to attack from any angle, even from the same approach you took to enter into your current position. Sometimes especially that same approach, because that was a proven weakness in an objective. Depending on the size of the area you need to defend, it may be wise to give up some real estate for the sake of a tighter defensive line. So instead of trying to hold an entire town with just a squad, pull in, focus on, say, the town square or the church. It's a smaller point that you can more easily cover. You have less gaps, and your lines aren't as thin. Another example is you are set up inside a forest. You know the enemy is likely to approach from the north. Alpha, you have set up on a 180-degree defense on the north, and they have dug in. Bravo is watching the southern end for the same point. As the enemy approaches, you move the team's focus around in reaction to which side the enemy is heavily trying to push, looking for a weak point to break into. Same thing we try. Yes, Rush Job.
So if you're holding an area for, let's say, a town, would it be beneficial to have each fire team holding a separate building that have Overwatch on each other?
Yes, exactly. You do not want everyone all grouped up into the same building if there are multiple options. Have them spread out. Hell, have two buildings to a fire team even. Depending on the situation, a pair of guys can more than adequately handle a single watchtower, but therefore you're able to spread them out and have them be even more effective without rendering them too exposed. Target deconfliction, friendly fire. The worst thing that can happen is having your guys shoot at each other. As the squad leader, it is important for you to have that battle picture constantly up to date with friendly positions as well as enemy positions. Knowing you sent a team to do one thing, you can avoid the other team mistaking them as enemies by updating your whole squad on team movements and having them update each other, as well as asking for reports to be sure the second team is where you knew they last were. So in the case of having multiple squads, that's coordinating with your other squad leader to make sure you have no cases of blue on blue going on. C-Type is incredibly useful for these exact reasons. It allows you to track the individual members of your squad. You can also see any other squads or basically fire teams on that as well. They show up as different blocks on the C-Type. For instance, if you guys pull it up,
We have the
You'll
tablets. Well,
yeah,
I have a tablet.
yeah. Squad
I
leaders
don't have a
get
tablet.
tablets, unfortunately.
Are you a squad lead? Yeah.
Yeah, squad lead.
just change
Unfortunately, they really need to change that in the framework. I've told them a dozen times now already. But anyway, if you zoom in, you'll see the members that are in your group, as well as Hannibal and I, because we were slotted into different slots. We appear as a blue square. Specifically, the team leader appears as that. That's not necessarily where the full team is, just where the team leader is located.
I only see Hannibal. I want to see Erickson.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
Because
that's because
that's literally what I
Hannibal
said.
technically
I thought you were
outranks
saying you're
him.
gonna see both as squares, but okay.
No, no, no.
Doesn't-
You
doesn't-
only see the team
You only see
leader.
the highest mark on it.
Doesn't matter right now, frankly.
But it's something to keep in mind that if you're working with another squad and you see another square, oh, that's where the other squad is. Okay, no problem. Except no, that's where this other squad leader is. His fire teams might be further into that town that you're about to request an airstrike on, because you did not build a proper battle space picture.
Phase lines. Phase lines.
Yes, phase lines are incredibly useful for this. Typically, that falls under platoon leader's discretion, but squad leaders, absolutely, you are encouraged if there aren't already phase lines. If the objective dictates a benefit to using so, draw them out and have your fire team leaders report when they cross a phase line. That way you know at least approximately where they are if you can't get direct eyes on them or see them through CTAB for whatever reason. Any questions in regards to any of this? No? Okay.
Is all of this in a document by chance?
Yes, yes it is.
Fantastic.
I will be providing that for you. Okay, navigation, Rush Job. So, navigation is pretty straightforward, so you guys all know how to read a map, correct?
Yep.
Yep. This is covered under FTL training, so all except Stinky should know this already. And Stinky, I assume you to basically know this as well. MSRs and ASRs. Do you guys know how to read the difference between those on the map?
I thought it was ISR, not ASR.
That's alternate supply route.
Yeah.
What would the I stand for? Alright, cool, don't just don't respond. Alright. Well, yeah, right, because it's main supply route, and if you have it as an
Yeah, I
ISR,
understand
what the hell is
what the M is
ISR? Yeah, but ASR for alternate supply route?
It is ASR. ISR is...
Isn't ISR fucking,
Yeah,
like,
that's
eyes in the
intel
sky? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's like, don't
Yeah.
like birds do ISR?
exactly, they do. So, triangulation. Do you guys have a
We should
idea
have
of
our
how to
tools
use
on us,
triangulation?
Reference markers?
yes. What the fuck is that? Well, tell me where we are. Well, I know where we are, but
Yeah.
you know, what are we looking at? And I'll give you an exact fucking...
Yep. You see the town of Coroni?
Actually, don't need one that's this fucking big. Let me hide the bigger one.
To our northwest. I want you to triangulate Hill 103 to the west of that.
fucking grab yeah. Okay, let me get the other tools out. Smaller tools. We are...
Like, you're actually using
here, and
damn.
you're going out to... What hill was it again?
Hill 103.
103, so it's past it. Alright. Great, I need the other fucking... the bigger tool now.
You actually use map tools? Wow. Good
Map
on
tools
you,
are
Rush.
useful.
I use my...
Good on you, Rush.
Normal... that shit... Oh, it stays right where the fuck I put it. Cool. That, and why are you not fucking dry? There we go. Let's see... Well, actually, I need to fucking do it this way.
About 500 meters to the northwest of the city of Karumi.
Where's Coroni again? Which
Bearing,
side?
let's see, that's
Let me see.
one. It'll be bearing
Got it.
There you go.
05 1.2 or 1.5.
Yeah, okay. Rush Job, real quick, because you are very good at that. Does anyone not know how he got that information of how to get the bearing of that hill that I gave him in relation to your position?
The bearing or the distance mark?
He gave the bearing.
Well, I remember you
From bearing, you can then figure out distance.
The
remember how to-
map tool has a compass on the inside. You place it in the middle of whatever line between whatever you're going.
and then you use Alt to rotate.
Well, I don't remember if those numbers are hundreds or 1,000. I think they're 100 meters, I think, each number. So it would be...
Depends on how
The-
it's
400
zoomed in.
small,
and-
the small ones are. like the small box is 100 meters. The giant side is 1 kilometer.
So it is still a kilometer. So it's like, so it's 4 kilometers out? Yeah, I guess it is 4 kilometers out. Alright, so it's 4,100 then.
Not
For
4
distance.
kilometers.
That's
I have
way less than
400
400.
meters.
He's talking. So
Oh,
Rashad was
oh,
talking about
here?
from our position.
Oh
yeah.
fuck! You said from the town of Coroni.
No, we're going to there. We're going from here
Oh.
to Hill 105.
Oh fuck!
I was
okay,
giving
then, yeah.
that as a reference so you can
That's
find
full.
the correct
Hill
Oh.
103, I mean,
Fuck.
sorry.
Okay. I'm like
No.
sitting there like, well, it's this.
So yes, the way you do it is find out where your current position is approximately. Find out where you need to go. Place the center of your map tools over where you need to go, and direct the red line by holding Alt and clicking on your map tools and spinning to the direction where you are, and that's how you get your bearing. Another way to do it is if you open up your C tab, you can
Yeah, I was like,
Get
it
it
has
very-
I
a-
wasn't even thinking about doing
Yeah.
that.
It's like
I like
C-tab.
map tools, alright?
no,
You're
it's
a
very
goddamn
good to
nerd.
know that your electronics can fail.
You're a goddamn nerd.
Compasses don't really.
Armor-
Bearing 288, 4.07 kilometers.
So,
Yeah.
to do that, basically, you pull up your C tab in full screen, and you just hover your mouse over where you need to go, where you want to be, and then you look at the bottom corner, and it'll tell you the
Jesus.
bearing, the distance, the grid, and the elevation. In
Use the technology that's
I
given
know, I
to you.
wasn't thinking about
You
using
didn't think ahead. That's on you,
He-
dude.
You're talking
hey,
to Rush
hey,
Job.
remember,
this
this
man is
is the
literally
guy.
rewinding real
This is
life.
the guy that
yeah.
provides air support for us.
Not recently. It has been up in the air.
So that is triangulation. Map awareness is important to always keep your bearing within the battlefield. It's easy to get lost, especially under stress. No matter how experienced you may be, you can always get lost. So make use of land features. Be aware of where you are in relation to the objective, and useful terrain features around you. If you should, say, take immediate contact, you need to take cover from indirects, or you're about to assault an objective, know the ideal lanes of assault and cover. Along those lines, understand contours and elevation lines, know how to read them. Does anyone not know how to read contour lines on the map? Going once, going twice. Okay, excellent. Defilade, reverse slopes. So defilade is a natural or artificial obstacle to shield or conceal a movement. So gullies, chest-high walls, alleyways, valleys, all these can act as defilade to provide you cover and concealment as you advance, or the enemy to do the same onto you. Reverse slopes, so if we're moving alongside a ridge and we know we're moving towards an objective, whenever possible, try and remain on the opposite side, the reverse slope, to the objective to prevent them spotting us, provide very good cover, and to prevent any chance of skylining. Little tip, you can use the M203s to indirectly attack any infantry on the reverse slope of hills, as well as if they are tucked away in defilade. Don't be afraid to use that. FTLs as well.
Don't throw a grenade though.
What?
Don't throw a grenade. We've done that like 3 times this couple.
Yeah,
Last
and
couple weeks.
don't launch HE grenades when you're expecting to throw smoke, and don't launch smoke when you're expecting to launch an HE.
Sorry.
Don't worry, the other grenadier did it as well. Efficient movement using terrain. Keep the tree lines to conceal movement. Use defilade to shield from enemy infantry and vehicles. The difference of moving through hard cover or through versus open fields. Obviously, you want to move through hard cover. Using bounding movements when going over open terrain. If you have to cross a field and you suspect there to be enemies, don't all cross at once. Bound. And tactical positioning. Be on the weak side of any enemy encampment or forces. Look at the objectives. Know where they have good sight lines and where they have good cover. Don't advance along those positions if you can help it. Find a position with an easy and relatively safe exit if need be. Use the shortest path possible to enter a town. And roads are for wheels, not boots. As much as possible. Stay off the roads if you're moving cross country. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, excellent. Convoys. We're in the home stretch here. Just two things. Yep. As squad leader, it's your job to set up and brief your convoy on route planning, convoy net, expectations of movement, ROE, reactions to contact, and order of march. By and large, platoon leader is going to be overall convoy commander. However, most likely squad leader is going to be the one dictating all these and making the moment-to-moment decisions in regards to it. Therefore, it's your responsibility to make sure the convoy is up, ready, and briefed. Convoy radio procedures, these were covered in FTL training. If you need a refresher on that, read the damn documents and messages. I don't feel like going over it again.
I have a stream
convoy...
to watch that.
What?
I'll say
Just
no. I have a
watch
stream
the
if
West
anyone
Job
wants
stream.
refreshing, watch that too.
Yes, there is a live stream of it as well. Convoy vehicle call sign is based on the order of march. Obviously, first vehicle in the march is Vic 1, third vehicle in the march is Vic 3, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. Convoy maneuvers. So this was mentioned onto what each maneuver is in FTL training. You got the coil and the herringbone. However, the usage of them, when to use what, wasn't covered as much. If you are facing overwhelming contact from multiple directions and you aren't able to push through, that is when you would wish to do a coil. Basically, you are circling the wagons, you're providing a layer of cover, as well as effective 360-degree fire support to eliminate the ambush that has so effectively targeted you so far. Herringbone is when you are able to initially push through a ambush, but you have a disabled vehicle that you need to, say, recover, and survivors that you need to provide assistance to. You would then issue a herringbone, in which case the vehicles pull off to the side of the road and are able to provide their supportive fire towards the ambush point, but from a safer position. One thing to note, not necessarily when you herringbone, though usually, but always, if a coil is called and you circle the wagons, you do a soft dismount at that point. Every time. You get everyone that is not driving or gunning out of that vehicle to provide additional fire support. Because if you're doing a wagon wheel, you are in a bad situation already. Sectors of cover, so this was gone over as well in FTL training, but I'm going to reinforce it. First vehicle watches the front. Second vehicle chooses either left or right. Any following vehicles zipper in choosing the opposite direction of the vehicle in front of them. The last Vic watches the rear. Typically, you want platoon and medic somewhere in the middle. You don't want them to be on the exposed, vulnerable sides of a convoy. Reacting to contact when in a convoy. When reacting to contact, the convoy commander assesses the situation and calls for a blow-through or a halt and set up a defense. Blow-through, as stated before, convoy continues along the planned route or an alternate route while gunners return suppressive fire. When a halt is given, all vehicles must maneuver out of the kill zone, return to suppressive fire. Vigs who are halting outside the kill zone utilize a herringbone formation. If you have to halt inside the kill zone, you do a wagon wheel. Non-essential personnel dismount from vehicles, find proper cover, and return suppressive fire. Convoy commander issues follow-on orders as necessary to repel or suppress the opposing force. At the initial contact, the lead vehicle or any affected vehicles need to push up a contact report as soon as possible, aka immediately, so the rest of the convoy can react accordingly. Any disabled vehicles need to be assessed to be destroyed or abandoned. Any casualties need to be addressed by the medic or CASEVAC if that is a factor in the operation. Any questions with convoy? No? Okay. Last but not least, ambushes, or more specifically, hasty ambushes. Ambushes are complex, multi-phase operations and are therefore usually planned in some detail. First, the suitable killing zone is identified. This is the place where the ambush will be laid. It is generally a place where the enemy units are expected to pass. Gives reasonable cover for your men, and allows limited avenues of retreat for the enemy as much as possible. Path along a wooded valley floor would typically be a good example of an infantry ambush. There are 3 types of ambushes. You have linear, when a number of firing units are basically equal distant from the linear kill zone. So basically, everyone's on the firing line, everyone's facing the same direction. Your target passes into the kill box in front of you, and everyone fires, does their job, bugs out. These are the easiest to set up, but are also the least effective. Additionally, you have the L-shaped ambush. This is when a short leg of firing units are placed in enfilade to the sides of the linear kill zone. So, for instance, if you reference your maps, you look at the MSR, say, to our direct north. You see the gas station to our north? Yeah, right here. We have a enemy convoy moving east to west along this road, and we want to set up an L-shaped ambush at this junction. So, you would have the majority, or at the bare minimum, half the team laid out, say, amongst those buildings to fire in a normal linear ambush point. But you would have another fire team positioned, say, maybe here, or even here to get them at a curve, maybe. Not the most ideal position, but you get my point. To fire down the length of the enemy target. So while you have one side pounding their left and right, you have another team pounding their front or back. Any questions with that? The most complex to initiate, and one that I've very rarely seen because it invites, yes, a rush up. That is also another decent example. If you look in the town of Graphy, he's drawn out another one. But a much more complex ambush is the V-shaped. This is when the firing units are distant from the kill zone at the end, where the enemy enters, so that the firing units lay down bands of intersecting and interlocking fire. This ambush is normally triggered only when the enemy is very deep into the kill zone. The intersecting bands of fire prevent any attempt of moving outside the kill zone. So, in that case, it is similar to a linear kill zone, except you have 2 sides swing at, or you have them on equal sides of the kill zone point. This would normally be a very bad idea because it would invite crossfire and accidental blue on blue. You did not do that. Elevation difference makes a difference, yes, but additionally, because you are angled more outward at an angle than, say, straight lines, you're letting them, you are letting them come deeper and deeper into the kill box, say, to this point before you even initiate it. You are then all firing down away from each other at an angle, but also providing even less opportunities for the enemy to find effective cover. Does anyone have any questions in regards to any of this? I know they're lightly touched on. We haven't done too many ambushes lately because they are difficult to initiate and plan and execute. Any questions? No? Okay, excellent. I'm going to leave you with one last tidbit with the ambushes. The trick to a successful one is overwhelming initial firepower. Yes, Russia, this is true. But overwhelming initial firepower, knock as many of them out in the opening volley as you can, and have a designated, predetermined engagement time. After that time passes, bug out immediately. Do not stick around. Do not try and press an advantage with that. If we are ambushing, it is hit and run. We are not sticking around to fuck around and find out. Okay, congratulations, everybody. You are now the squad leaders for TF121. Woo!
Yay.
Woo! Yeah.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Erickson.
Thank you, Erickson.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. We got him. Let me just update the sheet here real quick.
Where's Discord?
Erickson, you got me? Yeah, I got to run real quick.
Yep, Hubble, you're good.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I would have been sooner, but I was on my way home with my bike, getting it back home again with a new rear tire. Alright.
Two.
Also putting an X in leadership.
Also, don't forget to not put me down because I still have to get FTL.
Now,
Yep.
where this is a training thing, so we're going to fill out the post-op?
Yes, feel free to put all the post up. This was official training.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, Andy wasn't here, wasn't here, Flood wasn't here, Jameson wasn't here,
Official training.
Brent wasn't here.
Nothing specific.
Okay, then Sankey, I'm going to put you down as probationary.
Okay, cool.
Anyone that is FTL qualified can give you the FTL training. They have access to the training document for it. Get somebody to do that, and you're good to go. I would volunteer, but I've been doing so many fire teams, so many trainings lately, and I still have platoon leader to give in the future that I need to prepare.
No problem. And you said there was a stream of it that I can watch too?
So that was basically at that time to make sure we had an adequate number of FTLs. Unfortunately, I'm not going to accept that as
Okay.
Oof.
going
That's
forward. It's still useful to check out, but yeah, then it's just like I have no way of verifying.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Somebody could
I'm
just claim,
assuming-
yeah, I saw.
Yeah, you probably haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Let me fucking find
Ah,
it
damn,
at
I could have
least.
lied earlier. I mean, what?
I guess that'd be the question. If you
I
want to
would've
watch
been
it,
very
you can watch
naughty
it,
of
but you know, you'll end up going through the same stuff.
Yeah,
later
no, exactly.
Anyways, and you might get bored. 'Cause
You
have
will
already
get
heard it.
bored. You will get bored.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm trying. I'm trying to keep my mind going in between semesters so that I don't forget all the shit I learned this year.
Oh shit, Deathfire, Operation Old Ties, Wolf Day. Where the fuck is that? It was a live upload. Where the fuck is the fire team lead one? I don't see it in here. It's definitely gonna be in the streaming thing that I shared with Jameson, because he wanted someone to stream it.
Yeah,
then.
Jameson and Flo.
What the fuck? Past live streams. About that. Very odd. I don't fucking see it here. Because I see TOD Dustfire, Operation Old Ties, Operation Wolf Day 1, Operation Roll Tide, Operation Seahorse, Relink, Ruin City, broke back contact round 2, broke back contact round 1. Sidestep day 97. Oh, there's no 8. 97654. Yeah, that's what's the fuck. It's not here.